I feel like what Ben Affleck did for Boston, I feel like what Spike Lee did for New York and what all them dudes did for LA and Chicago, like we gotta do for the Bay.
For the Bay, yes.
Yeah, man, that's the work. That's the voice of Berner, who owns the most successful cannabis brand of our generation, Cookies. And Berner is from the Bay Area. First time I met him was in Clear Lake, California.
Fishing?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
I just threw that out there.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Every summer I would take the family, me and the family would go get a house out there and celebrate, sit on the lake, and act a fool and have a really good time. And one of the casinos out there, I was, ripping their necks off at the poker table. And Berner came up to me and said, "Hey, man, oh, shit, Sway? Yeah, man, what's up, man? I'm Berner, man." I didn't know who he was at that time. I was like, "Man, good to meet you." He's like, "I'm from the Bay, man, and, man, I rap." I was like, "All right, okay. Can I give you some music?" So he ran to his car and gave me about 3 or 4 CDs of his music. I said, "Man, are you good?" He was like, "Man, I like, I've been doing it for a while, man. I like what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah." And he, I didn't even know about the Cookies brand at that time. I knew him as an artist, but he had the Cookies brand at that time. And I thought it was really interesting when I would see him and go, "Man, that ain't even how he presented himself. That was wise." That clip, citizens, if you want to learn more about Bay Area and its history and its artistry and some of the just legendary moments that are very seldom told. When you even think of my story and King Tech's story, y'all don't know it. The world don't know it. You know what I mean? Because people don't talk about it. And when we see our peers talking about history and moments and this culture that took place, they tend to skip over Bay Area for some reason.
No, it's a reason.
What's the reason?
So here's what I've learned. And I've learned it, and I don't think anymore it's an accident. So we've been doing this show 11 years now.
Right.
And most recently, we've been blessed to sit down with Mount Westmore for a special behind-the-scenes look and conversation. And Short was there. Cube was there. E40 was there. And just having her here today, what I'm constantly hearing is that people take a lot from the Bay Area. Like a lot. And they hardly ever acknowledge it.
Yeah.
And I think when you take from people and you don't acknowledge it, that's a crime in itself.
Yep.
Y'all know who I'm talking about. But they get embarrassed later on because you constantly hear people say that started in the Bay. The only person I've ever heard give full acknowledgement to the Bay Area is Master P. Real talk.
Give that man
That's
a round
not
of
from
applause.
the Bay.
That's
You know
not
what I
from-
mean?
Yeah.
He's the only person, Rab, that came up here and actually said, "I learned from the Bay Area." And Snoop said, "I learned from Master P, who learned from the Bay Area." Everybody else be taken and not wanting to give acknowledgement.
And Master P will tell you that his pivotal person in the Bay Area that he learned a lot from was E.A. Ski.
Okay, I can't speak to that
I
part.
know, but I love what you just did.
I gotta
I
stop
love what
with,
you did.
I'm mad. I can't take
Yeah.
credit for that part. I
Yeah.
heard what he said to me.
Yeah, because Ski used to live off of Fleming.
Okay.
Over there off 55th. And P used to wait at his house till he came home. On his stairs. P know his whole family. Salute to P. It does get it used to frustrate me because I got a lot of peers in journalism, hip hop journalism, broadcast journalism that I'll see speaking on history and even the history of what we do, and they purposely won't mention Sway and Tech in their stories when our story helped to illuminate so much in the culture and elevate it to a level that it wasn't at, that they were inspired by. And so when I see it, it used to frustrate me. Now it doesn't weigh on me at all. In fact, I almost feel sympathetic towards them, because I celebrate everybody. I don't care who you are. Like, if you come through this game, I'm going to put a spotlight on you, even if I don't like you.
That's you.
You've seen me do We've had people on the show that I'm not that aligned with because of that. But they deserve their story to be told. And I think that's what's important, y'all. Stop telling the half-truths so you could get some type of metrics or some viral moment to make yourself feel good.
Right. And give credit to people.
Right.
Like, give credit.
Because the story can't just be about you.
It can't be about you. So salute to Rob Markman. Give Rob Markman a round of applause.
Yes.
I talk back.
Give Daytwan Thomas a round of applause.
I love Daytwan.
Me too.
What up, Daytwan?
You know,
up, Day?
I can say for a fact, and I say these names because there's somebody from the Bay who is walking in a tradition of excellence when it comes to this journalism because he cares. I know it. His conversation gets annoying at times, Heather, because he wants to get to the minute detail of what happened in history. Remember that one line so-and-so said in this song? He's been like this for decades that we've hung out. And I remember saying to him, do everything you want to be done yourself. Do it yourself. Don't rely on anybody. Don't count on anybody.
That sounds familiar.
Do it yourself. You know, because, and I'm going to be there to support all the way through. But once I can see that a person is taking initiative to grab what it is that they want, that makes me more inspired to support what it is that they're trying to do.
That's right.
He started off as an MC. He was rhyming and rapping, you know, and him and my cousin Clee were getting, what was it, half a Grammy label imprint off the ground.
What up, cousin Clee?
And but he has something bigger and more. He has something to say, but he needed another platform to say it on. And sometimes you can't say it all in a song. And he created this platform called No Vultures out of Northern California. And you see everybody in Northern California, specifically the Bay Area, that have been coming down to support it because he knows their truth. He's invested in their story for the broader picture of what's been done in the Bay Area. Mr. F.A.B., Sibo, Numbskull, they all come down to speak with this man because of his pedigree.
Yes.
And so this is, I will all be all transparent. This is family. This is my cousin.
Love it.
Okay, and I watch him. I'm a little hard on him, probably. He can handle it.
All right.
welcome him to the show. The one and only Lord Rab from No Vultures.
Let's go. We up.
Rab.
Yo.
How long has No Vultures been in existence?
Man, like almost 4 years now.
4 years.
Yeah.
What was the moment you decided, and why did you decide, I just got to create my own platform?
Honestly, partly because of what you told me.
What did I say to you?
I asked you about it. So I asked you, I'm like, man, you know, this rapping is cool, but, you know, the game is a little fickle for me, and I'm on the more side of like too cool to be a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so you said to me one day, I said, man, I'm thinking about doing a podcast. And I was like, what you think? You said, do it. That was it. You said you got a camera, right? I've been seeing you do camera work. I know what your pedigree is on this hip hop. So why you ain't doing it? And that stuck with me more than anything anybody ever told me. Why you ain't doing it? Because I didn't have an excuse.
And what's the first thing you did after that? How did you build it?
The first thing I did was jump on YouTube. I'm YouTube University alumni. So everything on that platform, I mean, as far as tutorials, everything that I did was off a tutorial. So from learning how to hook up a mic to control a soundboard to even the conducting the interviews I kind of had because of my studying, you know, watching you and others and just my love for the game. But man, the first thing I did was got on YouTube and bought equipment. And from there, I fired it up.
And what was your first episode? What made you choose it as your first episode, and how did it go?
So, of course, I do a guest-based. So, podcasts are cool, but, like, if I was ranting, it'd be crazy. I probably would be the most viral. But, but I wanted to tell people stories. So, I chose Karan Streets. He's a guy from Berkeley, and he's actually, you guys remember the group The Pack that Too Short had? Got my Vans on.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Tell him who came out of the pack.
Yeah. Who came out? A little bass guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest that everybody gonna know, Lil B.
Lil B, uh-huh.
And so these were his folks. But he was also in the movie. As a rapper, that's not what made me interview him. He's an actor. And so they did a movie called Licks.
Yep.
Super dope movie. And that was the only movie that I saw tell a real Oakland story without it being kind of corny.
Got it.
And so his story was so deep because he's burnt. So he got burned when he was young. He had dreads and the locks, and the doctor told his mom the only way to get rid of these lice is to burn it. And so and shout out to his mom. His mom is called Word Slinger. She's a poet from Oakland, very very deep. But she put the kerosene in his hair, and when she didn't know she had the stove on or something like that, and when she lit to light the lights, the kerosene out his hair, it just was an explosion. And so he was just burned. He said as he was walking out the house, his skin was melting. And so just his confidence, when I see him, like he running down on any lady, like he, and this is a guy that's been burned, so he doesn't let that get him. I just thought he was very interesting, and he's a thespian. He's a hell of an actor. He actually did all of August Wilson's screenplays in chronological order. He's the only person in history that ever did that.
Wow.
So,
really?
Wow.
Yeah. I remember meeting him here.
Yeah, when he came up,
we
interviewed him right here.
Yeah,
We interviewed him on the show, and that was your first episode.
That was the first one.
See, I think you shouldn't be ranting. I like the fact that you're not ranting, and to me, I think that some of the most successful podcasts or shows or whatever people call them, and the ones that's going to have longevity, are the ones that the hosts are actually passionate about what they're talking about. And I think that always gives you a bonus and a foundation. Like, you're passionate about the Bay Area, you're passionate about these stories. And I think the authenticity shows in that, and that's what I would tell people. Yeah, okay, so you learned a lot on YouTube, but you can't learn passion on YouTube.
No, you can't.
So you started with the passion of it, and I think that you develop in the other stuff, the technical stuff. Yeah, you learn that, but to me, it started with your passion.
Absolutely.
So congratulations
Thank you.
for following your passion and being and wanting to enhance it more. You know what I mean? I think that's dope, Rap.
And I can sense that your passion is also what led to this title. Like, I want to unpack that with No Vultures, because obviously it makes us think of culture vultures.
Absolutely.
Those who are cultural appropriators, those who, do not have pure intentions when it comes to this game. How long did it take you? Was that the first name that came to mind?
That is the first name that came to mind.
Amen.
And I was thinking of names, but nothing was coming up. Like, I literally was drawing a blank. Like, because I'm really particular about that. Like, in the Bay Area, we got a term called Bootsy. Nobody wants to be Bootsy. Like, Bootsy is like a clown, but it's just so much deeper than that. You know what I mean? It's just
corny.
like corny, a
Not
side
to be confused
buster.
with Bootsy, though.
Yeah, somebody that's stunting all the time for no reason. It's just Bootsy. So we call it. So I didn't want to be Bootsy.
Okay.
So I was like, I can't just name my show anything. And so Dame Dash popped in my head. And one of his rants when he talked about culture vultures, and I think because of his business with Jay-Z and people like that and their disagreements or, separation, people tend to not take people serious if the more popular person is not rocking with them no more. But I can take something from anybody. And so when he talks about these culture vultures, he's basically just talking about David fighting Goliath and us telling our story. Like, we don't necessarily need people. We can empower each other. We can start, our own thing. Of course, he had the answers. You know what I'm saying? We've seen that people tell you could do these things and you got to just try it. So, but that's basically where No Vultures came from.
Word.
Dope.
Let's do this. I'm gonna throw some names out, and then you just give me a quick take on who they are and the impact they made.
I like that.
On the Bay Area.
Okay.
Okay. Let's start with, and some of these names you may not know the artists. Okay. Let's start with Sebo.
Okay, with Sebo, Sebo was the Northern California version of Ice Cube. His career was stunted by prison stints and street things that he had going on. But Sebo would be basically what the difference between the Bay and LA is, right? Even though he's from Sacramento, it's considered Northern California, same thing. But he is basically the difference between LA and the Bay because of the people he probably was able to deal with in the music business, the people that could guide him in the right ways to the music business. I don't think he had that. And so you talking about somebody that pressed up 1 million copies and gave them away. So I didn't know how I heard this dude when I first heard him, but he was in the streets. I'm like, no, nobody just comes out and buzzing like that. But once he said they pressed up 1 million copies and gave them away.
And about what year is this?
1991.
Oh,
1990.
Yeah,
You gotta love it.
So this guy is the guy you hear on Trading War Stories with Tupac. When you hear "We Ain't Hard to Find," and then there's this
Birds
dude
in the
coming
kitchen.
in so hard, you know, because everybody heard Pac album, right? And so when you hear him come on these verses, you like, if you're not familiar with him, like, who is this dude? You know, and so that's who Sebo is. But he was like the Northern California Ice Cube.
nice.
Okay, the Delinquents.
The Delinquents.
Wow.
The epitome of independence. In Oakland or the Bay Area, we got this thing called the D-Boy contract. Everybody had to have it, right? So everybody in the town, everybody in San Francisco, Richmond, had a D-Boy contract, which means there's a guy that sells drugs in the neighborhood that's going to sponsor your career,
Oh,
right?
The D-Boy contract.
noted.
And so the Delinquents were their own D-Boys. You know what I'm saying? So they had money and was able to put themselves out. And they later on signed a Priority, and, you know, Master P attempted to sign them, but they were so strong on their independence. Shout out Vidal and Glenn, man. Great dudes. Great dudes.
All right, Mac Mall.
Mac Mall, man. Mac Mall's a guy that early on I thought he would be nationwide. Just from the beginning. He had every quality it took. He was tall, the girls liked him. He knew how to make girl songs and gangster songs. You know, he was affiliated with Mac Dre and the Romper Room Gang. And Mac Mall is an MC. So, you know, sometimes we separate the street rappers and the street guys versus MCs. He's all of that. So we don't, you know, Mac Mall's a rapper. Like, he's a real rapper, and I respect Mac Mall. I love Mac Mall.
He still raps today?
Yeah, he still rap,
It's incredible. RBL Posse.
Wow. Shout out to RBL Posse and shout out Black C. He just wrote a book, actually. I was reading it on the plane. I'm supposed to interview him again. One of the most deepest stories in hip hop ever. We talking about San Francisco gang wars, but this war in Hunters Point in particular started in the same house.
What?
So you had this guy Booby and you have Black C, right, which is Chris, and their family. But at some point, neighborhood shit got involved, and it was really bad like that.
Wow.
And so you got Black C who survived, but his group members both were killed. And then you got Booby who's just getting out of federal prison for a gang indictment, basically. And now them guys, I think, actually might be picking up the pieces because their neighborhood, that beef lingered on. So the young people killing each other and they don't know why.
They don't even know why, the history of it. Let's do this. We're talking about artists who have paved the way for artists today. I want to talk about an artist today. Who's a new artist that's on your radar right now?
On my radar, I'm really on Maury Taylor right now. I really love her. I feel like she's very talented. She can sing and rap. And I've been having this thing right now with female MCs out rapping the dudes.
Come on, man. That's
Y'all feel that too?
I was waiting for you to mention a woman too.
Yeah, like they out rapping the dudes, and so with her, she can sing also. So I met her doing covers of Erykah Badu and sounding identical.
Oh.
I mean, I've never, because Erykah Badu has an eccentric voice.
Yeah,
No one
yeah.
sounds like that.
Nobody.
She sounds like that.
Wow.
And so I heard that first, and I was on her from the beginning, and then I heard her rap, and I was like, oh my goodness.
Maury Taylor?
Maury Taylor, man. She's
what song?
amazing. Drowning.
Drowning?
That's her single.
Listen, 888-742-3345. Call up. Lord Rab, No Vultures is here. Anything you want to know about the Bay, we got you.
Let's do it.
Maury Taylor, welcome to the gang.
Word.
You in there, Maury?
Maury Taylor, your song just played everywhere. Come on, we got Lord Rab here, No Vultures. So
No
listen,
Vultures.
you got a little bit about No Vultures. Before you call here, I need you to follow No Vultures on Instagram. And if you tuned in right now and you can hear my voice, follow No Vultures at
No Vultures on Instagram, on everything, actually.
The way it sounds is the way it's spelled.
Beautiful. We
Okay.
love consolidation here.
Absolutely. We got Kari on the line from ATL. Or is it Carrie? Carrie or Kari?
Kari.
What up, Kari? Say what up to Rap.
Hey, Kari.
Hey, what's up? What's going on, y'all?
What's up?
I just want to ask a question, man, about the relation. With as far as like pimping and like rap in the Bay Area. I know that's a big thing, man. From Too Short, to Drew Down. The list goes on, but I specifically want to ask, man, what do you think there will ever be like a proper, maybe a documentary, maybe even a movie just about the relation of that to the Bay, man, and how big that is out there as far as, its inspiration in the music?
Well, for me, that's a part of the process. That's why I started No Vultures, because I wanted to start doing things nobody was doing. And this is like the beginning. So No Vultures is the baby of all of these things that you'll eventually see, from movies to just content to just, everything. And as far as the pimping goes, I don't know if you was listening earlier when Her was here, but we talked about the isms. And when you talk about the stuff we talked about a long time ago, now we living in a human trafficking era, and we living in a different era. So people don't relate to it as much, but we come from that, where we come from, and it's almost sad, but the women with it too, so it's someone told me a long time ago, the women and the children in any society will be just like the men. And I've always found that to be true. So, but yeah, there are
a lot of women that are aligned with pimp
that
culture.
are consenting.
They damn near pimps themselves, for sure. Yeah.
That's in the Bay. Hey, Kari, thank you. You're a citizen.
Hey, thank
Sway
y'all,
the
man.
body.
Thank y'all, man.
Appreciate it. Another crew, Zion I.
Rest in peace, Zumbi.
Very cool names.
Speak to them, man. What can you say?
Zion I. There we go again, talking about the alternate rap, right? Because we tend to think that rap runs off street rap, and it actually doesn't. So this is what I've been telling people every day. Like, you rap in a lot of gangster rap and a lot of these lyrics, but explore who you are a little more.
Right.
If you shot somebody, how did you feel the next day?
Yeah.
Did you tell your mom?
Yeah.
Like what's really going with you as a human? And that's what No Vultures does. I'm trying to humanize people either way it go. And with Zion I feel as though they weren't street, so they weren't talked about as much. But what I try to tell people is, true fans find you. You don't need to just rap about anything just to be that. So salute to Zion I. I mean, what they brought to the game is amazing.
To your point, one of the biggest success stories in rap, under that pretense, I think, would be Dale. The youth known as Dale the Funky Homo Sapien and the Hieroglyphic crew, Casual, Souls of Mischief, the list goes on. People even know Mahershala Ali was an original member of the Hieroglyphics crew.
Crazy.
Rapping way before he was acting.
Say word.
Yes.
Dope rapper.
And he's working on a project right now.
Dope.
He was dope.
Wow.
Mahershala's dope. He came up here.
Mahershala is dope.
Yeah, Mahershala's dope.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't remember that part.
Yeah, but what they did though is they expanded the box, right, of perception when it came to the Bay, because they were so different and they dressed different than Too Short or Drew Down or the Loonies. They dressed different from Young Black Brothers, Kyrie, and all these guys. Talk to their impact.
And that's crazy, because I just interviewed Tajay, and shout out to Tajay. They just opened a resort in Panama for, like a retreat resort to record.
Wow.
So to do concerts and shows and record music. So you know how people like to go, to different places and record. They just opened up a resort for that. That's crazy for hip hop too. And but speaking of your point, talking with Tajay about that, he said that it's all still the same thing because of what they had in them, because their influence was Too Short, but they just the lyricism wasn't enough for them. They wanted more, and I could understand, right? Because I felt like that as a youngster. I grew up off BDP. I grew up off of Nas. I grew up off MCs. Also, these people from Oakland, but then the real MCs that were around my era kind of influenced me too. So I wanted to always know why the rappers, at least the street rappers, didn't like use a lot of lyrics. It was more reality rap, I like to call. But as far as Hiero, I want to mention this too. I gotta say this. Hieroglyphics was not Hieroglyphics initially. They were the Mad Circle. And if anybody knows Dub C had Dub C in the Mad Circle.
Yeah.
Dale the Funky Homo Sapiens' cousin is Ice Cube. When Dale went to work with Ice Cube, they jacked him for his name.
Is that how they did it?
They took that name and they became Dub C in the Mad Circle. But
and
that's
tell them who was in the Mad Circle.
We had Dub C, of course. We had Coolio.
That's where Coolio came out of.
First time I ever heard Coolio was County Line. So he was Dub C in the Mad Circle. And that was crazy that I knew a little bit, but when I asked him about Dale, because Dale, Ice Cube is in Dale's Get Your Lazy Butt Off My Couch video. In fact, in that video, that is the first time Ice Cube cut his curl and showed himself in public.
Yeah.
So Ice Cube cut the curl off for his cousin video. We were just with Cube the other day, right? We got Lord Rap here, 888-742-3345 from the No Vultures podcast.
I love it.
Too Clean is on the line. What up, Too Clean? From the town.
Too
What up,
Clean.
Lord Rap?
What's up, man?
Too
What's
Clean.
up with you, man?
What's going on, Sway? What's going on, Lord Rap? How y'all doing, man?
What's going on?
I'm at work listening to y'all on the radio, man. I just want to give you a shout out, man. Congratulations on No Vultures.
Hey, Clean.
No Vultures.
Clean, can I give you your props right now?
Do it,
Yes,
please.
sir.
Listen, y'all got to know this about this man on the phone right now. One of the greatest hype men of all time. I was going to create a list, but this is Too Short's original hype man. So that guy you see him doing all of them dance steps and all of them
crazy
moves
dances.
in the back is
Wow,
Too
Too
Clean.
Clean?
That's what we got on the
That's
line
Too
right
Clean.
now.
Hey man,
Wow.
hey, you had the illest style going when it came to them dance moves.
You still got it, Too
Come
Clean.
on, man. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I'm doing all.
Nice.
I want to give a shout out to Short, man. Congratulations on getting street named after him in Oakland.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm fly out tomorrow to host that event. So you gonna come down?
Yeah, I'm going to come down, but you know it's raining out here. So,
Oh
you gotta just run.
damn.
What, it's raining?
I didn't know it was raining.
Yeah.
It's supposed to rain hard tomorrow, but I'll be there, Lord, man.
Okay.
Congratulations, man. No Vultures.
Thank you,
You're
man.
the
Thank you, Too Clean.
Too Clean.
Congratulations to you too, Sway.
Oh, thank you,
What's
Too
up with it?
Clean, man. Hey, you know what it is, man. You know we've been putting it down for decades, man. Go ahead and gargle though.
Okay,
All right.
hold on. I'm at work, man. I had to give a shout out, man. I hear that every morning.
All right, family. You're a Bay Area legend, family, and a citizen.
A sway in the morning.
Hey, Too Clean is an inspiration too because actually from my block, he's the only person that was doing anything in entertainment. Oh, outside of Lynn from Capital Tax.
Yeah.
Don't let me disrespect Lynn, but those two guys were actually in the music industry, and we had nobody around like that.
Wow.
We only sold crack and heroin. We didn't know nothing about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We didn't know nothing about
That's
entertainment
real.
and music. You
That's
know,
real.
so
We only sold crack and heroin. Let that be noted.
no music. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Too Clean because that was an inspiration for me too. Just seeing him alongside Too Short and having all of those friends, and he would not hesitate to go in his Rolodex and call celebrities that he knew.
That's right. Brad, we're going to play another song, and we're going to keep these phone lines open, 888-742-3345. I often talk about the real repty movement that's happening in the Bay. Of course, Quaz, our cousin, a.k.a. Two Juiced, and Fonte, Kev. Talk about Fonte.
Man, I love Fonte, and it's funny that you say that. You know, you told me a name. You told me something that I should say to people about these interviews. When anybody wants to interviews, you said, "Man, you don't have the bandwidth." Right, so I'm using that. I don't, you know, like people don't realize it's just me. I'm the editor, the producer. I'm the contact.
Yeah.
I'm everything. So I don't have the bandwidth. It's just me, you know. So I know people would like me to do a little more. But speaking of that, my point is with Fonte is I didn't interview him for a long time. We from the same block, but it's the same thing I tell everybody. You ain't did nothing. You know, where your motion at? And so now that's the thing they going on, having motion. So he signed to the legendary Philthy Rich out of Oakland. And once he did that, I felt like he was serious about being a rapper. But he's another person that was stunted by prison. And he couldn't get out of that slump because we don't have publicists, managers, A&Rs. We don't have any of those things in the Bay. Like if I ask you who's your favorite A&R, publicist, or manager, somebody's going to tell you somebody from 40 years ago. Or they'll say Tina Davis, who had Chris Brown, but no one currently. So it's just people making music. So, but shout out to Phonte because he finally took his rap career serious. I respect that.
Let's play a song for me.
I was gonna say Cher's boyfriend. He's an A&R, if I'm not mistaken. Out of the Bay.
What's my man name that was with Amber Rose?
Youngin.
AE. Shout out to AE. Shout out to AE.
Hey, salute to AE.
He publicized himself.
Salute to AE. That's a nigga shout out.
He is number one client.
Yo, he from the town.
He from the town.
He the owner and the president.
Who can peel the likes of an Amber Rose in a share? You gotta be from the town.
No Vultures.
Yeah. He might be a better A&R for the women's side of the music.
Hey, we gonna come back. This is called Just Bang. Yo, Phonte, what up? No.
Just Bang, Phonte. Oh, Money Motivated. That's
we gonna do Money Motivated?
Shout out Drew Banger, man, on the beat.
Okay, Money Motivated. Song is called Money Motivated by who, Lord Rap?
Killer Phonte and Just Bang. Shout out to the whole FOD, man. Shout out to Philthy Rich. Philthy Rich has done more as a CEO in the Bay Area than any other CEO ever in the last year.
Last year?
In the last year, he has signed more people, put more money in people's pockets, and took them off the streets than any CEO in the Bay Area has done ever.
Wow, Philthy Rich.
Shout out Phil.
Hey man, congratulations. Our grandmothers used to go to Sunday brunch all the time and brag about their grandsons.
That's crazy.
They used to sit at the table and brag about it, and Mommy Elsie was like, "You gotta come to the lunch." I was like, "Come on, Ma, you want me to come to the lunch with all of y'all?" Like, so I went to the lunch.
Yeah.
Right, and it was me and all the older lady crew. I liked them. I liked the older lady crew.
We know.
And his grandmother was bragging. And,
wow.
And so she called. We
That's crazy. That's crazy.
All right. Who else I want to ask you about? JT the Bigga Figga.
Hey man, that dude is a genius. When I say genius, I mean literally a genius. Like JT the Bigga Figga, for one, he's a producer, rapper, one of the greatest that existed out of the Bay. A lot of people did it, but he's one of the best. JT the Bigga Figga started Get Low Records, and he got signed to Priority also. But JT came back to the hood as a philanthropist. I think he spent most of his time, even the misunderstandings, of trying to give back to the neighborhoods. Like really, like he's really one of those guys, proud to be black, love our people. Like I respect JT. And even with all the riffraff that has happened in the past, couple years with JT, he's a solid dude as far as I can tell. I ain't had no problems with him. So I love JT, man, for what he did for the Bay.
Man, he been in Africa killing the game.
Killing the game in Africa. And he never stopped moving around. Like JT, he moved to Atlanta at one time. He moved to Africa. Also, I'm going to tell this since you asked about him. JT, the Bigga Figga, started something called Trap Flicks, right? After Netflix was started. Trap Flicks was like hood movies. And he went to Atlanta and did Snow on the Bluff.
Oh! Classic.
Y'all remember Snow on the Bluff with Curtis Snow?
Yeah.
And so that led to something else. Snoop actually started doing something with JT, and in the midst of that, Dame Dash Studios was started. Because JT shared some technology with Dame.
And that's how he started the TV, the 24-hour streaming network that he has.
Crazy.
Wow.
That started from JT
From the Bay.
We innovators, man.
From the Bay.
From the Bay.
Dame will tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, he will tell you.
Dame Dash will tell you.
He'll tell you. Yeah, he'll tell you.
He keeps it 1,000.
Wow.
Okay. 888-742-3345. Joseph is in North Carolina. Joseph, you got a question?
Hey, Joey.
Yeah, good morning, everyone.
What up?
Yo.
I just want to know what Bay Area talent is different in the fact that their drive seems to be different. Their hustle is a little bit less intense, but more involved, more evolved. Where does that come from in introducing them to the national stage? Like, does that make sense, what I'm asking? Like, what their hustle is so different. Why? How?
Okay.
I think it's from what I mentioned earlier before the break, is that the lack of resources. The lack of resources or the accessibility, you have to work like that. You know, I just mentioned that I do everything myself. There's no other way to do it until you become or you grow to a certain level, and then you have people that's more interested in you and you're interested in doing what you're doing. So that's just what we come from, the independent hustle. That's how it all started.
But how do you keep it so cool the whole time?
Oh, that's just Bay, man. You trying to get too many secrets, man. Yeah, man. Just come on, hang out with us.
Can't be duplicated.
We can't tell you how to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
You just got to come and be a part of it.
You got to come do it.
Yeah, that's why, like,
it ain't a Bay kit you could buy at Walmart.
Yeah,
right.
You know,
can't get it off of YouTube. Everything. Yeah.
You a citizen, Joe.
That's why, like, I love Simba. Like, I am obsessed with that kid. Like, I just think his skill set, his hustle, and he just not scared. Like, you throw that track on, and the way he's been able to do it, man, it's just been crazy. Love him. Like, to watch somebody from born in the Bay and doing all that, to get the kind of response he's getting, just like as a lyricist, like as an MC that I grew up knowing what an MC is, he got it.
He got it, right?
Simba got it.
He got it.
And he killing it.
Killing it.
And he's playing Too Short in the Freaky Tales movie.
Is he?
Yeah.
Wow.
Tomorrow I'll be in Oakland, part of the Too Short street naming. That's taking place off of High Street in Foothill, somewhere in that area.
Incredible.
Right by Fremont, right next to Fremont High School, where Short used to walk every day to go to school.
Wow.
Which is like four blocks from our grandmother's house. So
Four blocks,
literally
Where
four
they
blocks.
had the brunch, close to where they had the brunch.
That's, you know. But Rap, I want to listen. I didn't name every artist on purpose, right? There's a lot people you want. Keek the Sneak. It's a lot of folks that I didn't name. Dwayne Wiggins, who's been responsible for Zendaya, who's been responsible for her. Who else did we name? Been responsible. Kaylani coming to the forefront. But I still don't believe that the world realizes the impact of MC Hammer.
That's facts.
Facts.
I know the world does not realize the impact of MC Hammer. What can you speak to on that, Rap?
Hammer took the brunt and bruises for us to have fun. Like, Hammer, you know, in the time where gangster rap existed, Hammer was having fun. He was dancing. By the way, he's a street dude. Like, he's very tough. Don't nobody want to see Hammer, for sure. But Hammer was disrespected for having Taco Bell commercials. Like, Hammer was the person, the scapegoat that they called the sellout. For everything that these dudes try to do now, where they really doing corny stuff to get that done, Hammer did it organically. He did it with his dance moves. He believed in himself. Like, Hammer took half of East Oakland on the road. It's people that still live in homes from doing errands for MC Hammer. Like, they still own homes for just being an errand boy. Like, so Hammer took the hairdressers with him. Hammer took everybody with him. He's a different kind of individual, and I don't think that there'll ever be another one. Just somebody so selfless. Like, you know, and then you hear these lines. You hear Nelly say, blow 30 mil like I'm Hammer. And you just hear these different, and it's like, you know, like, but first of all, I want to say this, too. He's a tech guy, too, so he's doing well. You know what I'm saying? Don't get it twisted.
Well, we had a conversation. Hammer was in Silicon Valley in the 90s.
Early.
Silicon Valley startups, all these companies were coming to Hammer for consultation on how to market their products and make them cultural compatible. Since the 90s.
I like that.
Okay, go ahead, Rab. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and just everything about Hammer, from the Little League baseball teams, like, people don't know how much that, like, if you talk to somebody that's around 40 and younger, they're going to tell you they probably played with one of Hammer teams. Like, so just those type of things. And then he get flack for people say he bought the police helicopters, right? I don't know how much that is true versus he just made a donation to somebody to help what he thought was helping his community. Like, we speaking from the mind frame of now, where people talking about defund the police and all of that stuff. Only thing he knew was he wanted to help his community.
Word.
So whatever he did, it wasn't with bad intentions. Like, he was trying to lock people up or nothing like that. So, but Hammer, man, legend. Salute to Hammer, man.
That's 100%. That's 100%. And I will say this personally. I've said this to Sway. I said it on the show. I said it to Hammer when we had the opportunity to sit down and talk to him. It was our ignorance. I believe at a time you looking at hip hop in the 90s, so heavy East Coast bass. It's baggy clothes, it's Timbs. Wasn't nobody really doing all that dancing and moving around and talking about praying, and it just seemed so commercially and all these different things, and it was just that closed mindset. And I'm talking about the people who thought California was all the same.
Right.
Oakland, LA, all of it was just California. It was ignorance. It was pure ignorance. And I'm sorry, go ahead, Sway.
No, finish your thought, because I'm just listening, because you taking me back to that time period, and the ignorance was perpetuated. The ignorance was marketed, right? What Hammer was doing was so against the grain that it didn't benefit the record companies that pushed the artists that was doing the opposite of Hammer. And so it's true. The ignorance was it was calculated. Hammer's, I want to say Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em album, 18 million.
At that time.
Well, not only that,
18 million.
It's also a bigger issue than what we talk about.
Yeah.
Like, it's at that time, it's also due to a lack of travel and no experiences. So you don't know what East Oakland is. East Oakland what does that mean? You don't realize this man is bringing his people on the road, which is no different if you're a rapper or artist from Brooklyn or Jersey. You bringing your people on the road. But for some reason, it doesn't compute to you the same way because you ain't been nowhere.
That's crazy that y'all saying this, because part of No Vultures is like, what you wasn't here, Heather, when I said it, but humanizing, right? So both sides. I heard Search on one of these interviews talking about Hammer and how that happened on Gasface. Like Hammer got the worst part of Gasface.
Fact.
They said something about Hammer and went back to it and said something else. So it's like you got people attacking him, even people from his own city. Short got bars about Hammer, but I always write that off too. All these guys was under 30.
It's the arrogance
They
and
was
the cocky
youngsters,
for
man.
being in the 20s.
Yeah, like even the third base situation. When you hear Search explain it, he said it was more of his partner, but even at that point, they was young. Yeah, he snitched on me.
Damn. Ooh, this podcast, boy.
The other thing is, Heather, Hammer was spiritually grounded.
Yes.
That part.
Very.
Right? Let's talk about the spiritual aspect. And what he was doing and what he was trying to do was not financially profitable to what was being signed at that time. Spirituality. You're going to teach these niggas spirituality. That's what you're going to rap about. You're going to try to bring people together. That's why we pray. Pray.
Dope song.
Man, we can't let that happen because all this other stuff we want to perpetuate on the community over and over and over and over and over again. It might get discounted or something to that effect. So salute to MC Hammer.
Yeah,
Salute
love
to him.
Hammer.
Love you, brother. That story is going to be told.
Man.
And I know he got some stuff in the can. He told me.
Hammers. So for all of these guys who thought Hammer was some kind of pushover, I just want y'all to know Hammer's career was funded by the biggest drug dealer in Oakland at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
You don't want to say the name?
shout out to Lil D, man.
Okay.
Shout out to Daryl Reed, man. Was pardoned by President Obama after 28 years. He told me a story of leaving, giving Hammer $500,000 on accident. At the beginning of his career. And it wasn't even a D-Boy contract. It was a gift. So he intended to give him, I think, $100,000 or $200,000. He gave him the wrong bag.
Tracy tried to make Hammer a D-Boy contract.
I'm listening.
So they literally chased the bus down and got the bread back and did the right thing. But just stuff like that to let you know that Hammer is, and Hammer was a great example for the kids, by the way, because he never sold drugs and he worked hard. Like he worked for the A's. He was a ball boy. Yeah. So shout out
Salute
to
Hammer.
Yeah.
Salute.
Give it up for Lord Rab, our special guest today. He didn't know he was going to be on the
That
mic.
passion,
Yo,
yo.
he was just coming to bring his beautiful daughter, Malay, over
Happy
there. She's
birthday.
celebrating her 16th birthday
Shout out to
tomorrow.
Malay.
And he just brought her to New York, just doing daddy-daughter things.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to my brother, too. Daryl, by the way. Yeah, his birthday today.
Happy
In
birthday.
H-Town. What up, Jet? Happy
Okay.
birthday, Jetta.
And make sure, happy birthday, Jetta. Make sure you follow Lord Rab on his podcast network.
Give it out, Rab. That's your
That's
cue.
your- that's your-
Oh,
Yeah.
no
Yeah,
vote.
you've
No
been
vote.
doing this for a minute, girl.
No,
Come on.
I heard the music.
Okay.
I thought you had nothing left to say. But
I'm going to let you say it today. Go ahead.
yeah.
man.
But Follow me on No Vultures all across the board. Laura Rab all across the board. We dropping new interviews. I got some new stuff coming out, man. That's gonna be pretty dope, man. Got Danny Glover coming up, so that's gonna be huge for me, you know.
Yeah.
And I want to say this too. Shout out to Danny Boy, because Danny Boy gave me my first interview that did 2 million.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So Danny Boy told some stories that was incredible. Like,
Nice.
and just he damn near had me viral.
I mean, 2 million is
Danny Boy.
That's viral.
Yeah, Danny Boy talked about. He said something about Suge Knight told him he should have came out the closet sooner.
Years ago.
He should have been the first one to do it. You know.
He says, you letting Lil Nas X beat you to the punch? So Suge is still Suge.
Suge is still Suge. You got the clip. It's one of the clips that yeah.
Wait,
You have,
Danny Boy came out?
Yeah.
Where was I?
You have-
Where I be? I missed it. I was in a happy hour.
Happy.
Oh,
You
sorry.
have Frank Ocean.
Lil Nas X.
You have Lil Nas X.
Yeah, he cute too.
And those kind of guys.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
What?
Like,
I'm mad. I feel like I came
You
out
too
quick.
late?
I came out too quick. The fuck?
That's what I was really asking you. Like, nigga, you fucked up. You should have been came on with that
I
shit.
should have. When I talked to Suge about this shit, Suge called me on the phone. He's like, "Yeah." I say, "What's up?" He said, "What's up with this gay shit?" I say, "What you mean?" He's like, "Shit, you could have told me." I say, "Yeah, right." So he started laughing. He was like, "Danny Boy, how the fuck you let Lil Nas X?" He say, "Man, tell all them people about your shit.
Damn.
Don't nobody give a fuck about you gay." He say, "Man, kiss all them motherfuckers." He say, "Kiss them motherfuckers and make them know."
There it is.
Wow.
Yeah,
Danny
so
Boy, that's
yeah.
interesting, man. Hey, congratulations,
Thank
Rap.
you,
No
thank you,
Vultures.
thank y'all, man. Thank y'all.
Thank you for Gabriella Wilson, a.k.a. her, for coming by. Check her out on
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast.
December 15th,
Disney Plus, Heather is headed towards Urban View. Hit her up at
the happy hour, WHB.
Tracy G.
At It's Tracy G, ITSTRACYG, everywhere. Say what up.
Salute to my man J Period. You can follow him at J Period BK. He was our special guest DJ. To my niece Malay, there is nothing in this world you can't accomplish. If you can see it and you believe in you, everything you want will come your way. Work hard towards it. Don't get distracted. You're 16 now. So this your sweet 16, you know. So more of your life will be in your hands. You'll be highly protected by your amazing parents. Your mother is a queen. She has superior wisdom, and her savvy is incredible. Her insight, her intuition, and for her to be able to maintain and sustain your dad, you know she's a powerful one.
Come on now.
Too powerful.
You know she's a powerful woman.
Ah.
Okay, but your dad has undergone a lot. You know your dad's story. Your dad been through a lot, right? And look who he is, how he's elevated over all of these things, these pitfalls, these obstacles, these distractions that society will put on a black man, right? And your dad has been able to maintain, sustain, and elevate. Ty, move out the way so I can look at my niece. Your dad been able to elevate. And look what he's doing now. He's bringing more opportunity to people in the Bay and otherwise than most places. You're not getting these opportunities anymore. And your dad is providing for them. So salute to your dad. And salute to your uncle, my cousin Clee. You know, for all that he's about to do. It's incredible. He's been a part of this movement, the inception of this movement.
Man, it wouldn't be no movement without
It
him.
would be no movement without Cousin Clee. And so we celebrating Cousin Clee as well.
Yes.
And thank you to our citizens. I'm at Real Sway across the board. I'm headed to the Bay. We'll be back next week. Also look for that Mount Westmore conversation we had
Nice.
with Pandora and here on Shade 45. Make sure you go to Sway's Universe. That Lecrae freestyle is up. That Ab Soul conversation is up as well. The mayor of L.A., Mayor Karen Bass. We had a conversation with her. That'll be up today. Papa J. Make sure y'all go check it out. Stay on the right side of positivity. And citizens,
We have nothing left to say.